Hi, let us now look into as to what are the three factors which determines the value through the DCF method. The first one is the amount of cash expected to be generated, the timing of the cash flow, and the riskiness of the projected cash flows. So these are the three most critical aspects in the DCF methodology which are looked into to determine the value. If we are trying to understand what are the different aspects which are looked into in the DCF methodology other than the cash flows, like what are those aspects which are very critical, which lead to the calculation of free cash flow, which in turn leads into the calculation of the value of an enterprise. So these are the input variables, I should say, that leads to the calculation of free cash flows, and which are very critical from a DCF perspective. One is the analysis of revenues, second is expenses, third is working capital investments, fourth is capital expenditures, fifth is asset efficiency, and sixth is capital structure. So these are the normal set of elements which we generally get to see in any financial statements in P&L, balance sheet, and cash flows. As to the essence of this set of elements get to be very critical from a perspective of deducing the free cash flow and subsequently getting into the final conclusion of the value of an enterprise. So let us now look into the rationale as to why DCF is so popular. DCF is so popular because it is looked into to be the most scientific method among all the methods that we have discussed and will be discussing in the upcoming videos. So it is most rigorous approach is so basically through the DCF method, the calculation, the extent of calculation that is done is quite rigorous. You have to do a lot of analysis. Sometimes it's been observed that when a proper valuation exercise gets done, it ranges to 40 odd sheets and 700 odd rows. So it all depends on the size of the business, the complexity of the business, the number of verticals in the business. So there are a lot of things that comes into play, and for that reason DCF gets to be the most exhaustive means of studying a business, and that is why it is so widely valued, because every piece of assumption in this methodology is looked into. So value of any asset or business will depend on the earnings cash flow that is expected to generate in the future. So this is the basis on which the entire DCF concept is standing, which we have discussed earlier. Investors assign value based on the cash flow that they expect to receive in the future in the form of dividends or distributions or proceed on sale or liquidation proceeds on investments. So this also plays a part as to how the investors would like to receive the money or the returns to be generated in that particular business, in the form, whether it's in the form of dividends or in the form of proceeds on sales or liquidation proceeds on investments. That also plays a critical role in the DCF methodology. And also in this DCF technique, the projected free cash flows from business operations are discounted back to the present value at the investor's rate of return expectations, and the sum of such discounted free cash flows is the value of the business equity or asset. So sometimes it has been observed that the investor ideally like to understand what would be the value of the business basis the percentage return that they are expecting. So there are different techniques to calculate the discount rate, and there's an enormous extent of knowledge that needs to come up in this entire piece of determining the right discounting rate. But in certain cases, for ensuring that the interest of the investor, at the end of the day, this entire valuation exercise is done primarily with the objective of uh, uh, sourcing money from the investor. So that gets to be very critical. So it's very important that one understands that particular percentage which the investor has in mind, that has to be taken care of, because if the company is able to generate that amount of value which the investor is looking for, basis a percentage return that the investor is expecting, then it makes more sense for the investor. And if the investor is happy, then obviously it gets easy for the company to place across a proposition in front of the investor to source the capital what is required. Now let us understand what are the DCF components. So as we have mentioned, so is basically enterprise value is the present value of the discrete period plus the terminal value, which is obviously the present value of the cash flows in that terminal period. So present value of free cash flow is calculated based on the projections for the discrete period by using an appropriate discount rate and terminal value of the terminal period. So we have discussed on this earlier, but these are the basic DCF components which is used. So we have touched upon this earlier, so no point reiterating over here again. So now let us understand where DCF is primarily used. Which are those areas where DCF is the DCF methodology is widely used. So DCF is used in mergers and acquisition transactions. It is used in strategic implications. It is used for valuation for synergy benefits available to the specific purchaser. It is used for startup ventures. It is used for companies or businesses with negative earnings. Companies, businesses engage in extractive industries, that is depleting assets with limited life, for example mines. It is also applicable for businesses with PPAs, power purchase agreements, or BOOT agreements or BOT agreements, which is terminologies which is related to the road projects or infrastructure projects. Unique business model, where there is absence of listed comparable companies. Intangibles such as brand, trademarks, customer contracts, etc. Valuation companies undergoing financial re-engineering and debt restructuring, and liquidation cases. So you get to see that from startup to right to the extent of company getting liquidated, the application of DCF is there, and for various different nature of industries, whether it's a startup, whether it's a private company, whether it's a public company, whether it's into infrastructure business or business with a negative earning, in all forms and shapes DCF is widely used, and hence this is the most used or most prominent methodology among all the investment bankers. Now let us understand the different cash flow approaches around DCF. So essentially there are two calculations which are looked into from a DCF perspective. One is the enterprise value calculation, and the other is equity value calculation. So the other name of enterprise value calculation is free cash flow to the firm, which is also known as the FCFF method, and the other is the equity value or the free cash flow to equity method, which is also known as the FCFE method. Now to determine FCFF, the FCFF is the most commonly used methodology, and the discount rate which is used in case of FCFF is the weighted average cost of capital. So we have touched upon weighted average cost of capital earlier, and you can refer back if you have forgotten on that what we have discussed earlier. And on the FCFE part of it, this methodology is less commonly used, and it is relevant primarily for financing companies or companies with a complex capital structure. And over here the discount rate is the cost of equity. So I think from a perspective of this course, where the objective is to expose you to the investment banking domain, this much of an understanding is good enough. And if you again what I have told you in the last video as well, that if you would like to venture more around valuation, you are more than welcome to send across a mail to us or communicate to us in any forum, and show your interest, and then we can see through how we can give you some courses or some work which gives you better exposure around the subject of valuation, right? So I think in this video till now we have touched upon quite a number of things, and let's stop it over here, and we'll discuss on the next sections of DCF in the next video.